Good evening and thanks for joining us this Wednesday night. I'm Dennis House. The night after being re-elected as first selectman in Deep River, the wife of Richard Smith is facing embezzlement charges. Laura Smith turned herself into police today after a warrant was issued for her arrest. Channel 3's Hena Daniels is live tonight in Deep River with the story. Hena?
Dennis, Laura Smith is out on bail tonight. We are in front of the town hall and people have been coming up to us all night. This is certainly what everyone is talking about. Now, that embezzlement investigation was actually launched back in February. And what many are wondering is why was the warrant for her arrest issued one day after her husband was reelected? Outside First Selectman Richard and wife Laura Smith's house sits his police cruiser. Not only has the Democrat won uncontested to a record 11th term, but he is also a part-time police officer in town. But despite his political and police experience, it wasn't enough to keep his wife from the long arm of the law.
There were allegations that Dick Smith's wife was involved in some embezzling funds at the Liberty Bank.
Smith was a teller at the Liberty Bank on Main Street. Today, the 46-year-old turned herself in after a warrant was issued for her arrest. And it's been the talk of the town in quaint Deep River.
Very surprised, very surprised.
The arrest comes from a complaint made by Liberty Bank after an internal audit showed an employee was allegedly taking money from bank deposits over a 5-month period. Agata Partika lives near the Smiths.
I'm sad for her. She broke the law. I know people break the law, but just didn't think I knew anybody that did that.
Smith's arrest comes one day after her husband was reelected, and that may be the most troublesome for many in Deep River, who are now wondering if the allegations came out months ago, why was a warrant issued after the election?
You know, knowing who the people are and knowing the people and knowing the family, it's surprising. It was very surprising. It even kind of still is.
It's a shame.
Now, Laura Smith is out on $20,000 bond. She is due back in court on November 24th. We're live with the mobile newsroom in Deep River. Hena Daniels, Channel 3 Eyewitness News.
All right, thanks, Hena.
Now to a Channel 3 I-Team investigation. Resold meat that can end up on your plate. How fresh do you think the meat is at your local grocer? I-Team reporter Hena Daniels shows us when you buy items like meat, you may not be the first to take it out of the store.
When we buy any perishable item, like meat, we assume it's fresh. Safe assumption, right? Wrong. We went undercover to 3 Connecticut grocery stores. Our first stop was a grocery store chain in East Hartford. Watch the video. We picked out the meat, I paid for it, then left the store. Once outside, I marked an X on the bottom of the packages. We kept it in a cooler to prevent bacteria from growing. Minutes later, we returned the veal and steak and got a full refund, no questions asked. The meat went straight from the counter back to the shelf for another customer to buy.
It sounds pretty crooked.
I don't know. I just don't think that's right.
That is shocking to me.
I am absolutely astounded. And you know for a fact that that was done.
We caught it all on tape. Since this is a test, we brought the meat back. But any other time, it could have ended up on your dinner table.
I think it's unforgivable.
We went to another chain, this time in Bristol. They passed with flying colors. The manager refused to buy back the meat because it had left the store. Not the case at our third and final location, another famous chain with a store in Newington. Once again, we bought the meat, marked it, and kept it cool. Hours later, we brought it back to customer service, and sure enough, it was on the shelf just hours later.
You don't know where that product's been. It could be in somebody's warm car, and it could be tainted, and could taint everything else on the counter.
Once items like meat leave a store, the Food and Drug Administration considers them contaminated. If a customer returns it, the store can accept the meat but not resell it to you. But 2 out of 3 locations did not follow those health and safety rules.
They shouldn't do that.
We contacted the director of the Department of Consumer Protection, Frank Green. His agency oversees grocery stores.
We're consistent with FDA and with the public health code in terms of that. If we can't document that the meat has been handled correctly, it's been under refrigeration from the time it's been purchased to the time it's been returned, that basically should be thrown away. Put in the rendering bin is usually what it does in most supermarkets.
Because of our small sample, we are not releasing the names of the stores. But we did get a comment over the phone from the supervisor of our first location saying, "Nothing like this has ever happened at this store. We follow the strict codes and guidelines regulated by the Department of Public Health. I will talk to my employees and this will never happen again." Our second store responded by email. "We have a strict policy against reselling perishable products. Unfortunately, in this isolated incident, the associate did not follow policy. We are looking into the matter and we will take prompt action as necessary. But these responses do little to ease the minds of consumers we talk to.
They don't know what happened to it in between the time it left the store and the time it came back. I mean, someone could have done something to it.
Now, the experts say one way to protect yourself from bad meat is to thoroughly cook the product at a certain temperature. For more information, you can log on to our website at WFSB.com.
Telling a book about the deadly home invasion in Cheshire will be stocked on shelves at the library in town. 3 members of the Pettit family were brutally murdered, and the book gives one of the suspects' accounts of what happened. Tonight, the library board voted not to ban the book. Channel 3's Hena Daniels is live tonight in Cheshire with the story. Hena?
Dennis, and as you can imagine, not everyone is happy about tonight's decision, but the library board says they've received many emails in support of stocking the book. They also added they will not be changing their selection process when it comes to books.
To ban this book for being on the shelves of this library is censorship.
Emotionally charged support.
But you are not the first library board to face an issue like this, and you will not be the last.
Heartfelt opposition.
I think it was awful. I think everybody in Cheshire should be standing by Dr. Pettit.
After several public meetings tonight, the board voted 5-1 that in the middle of the night, the shocking true story of a family killed in cold blood will be on the Cheshire Library shelves.
Anyone opposed? Opposed.
Lone board member Marilyn Bartoli voted against the motion.
I am upset. It wasn't the decent thing to do, and as far as protecting people, who's protecting Bill Pettit and his family and the memories of those children? Apparently not our own library.
Also under scrutiny was library director Ramona Harton, who is ultimately responsible for the selection of books, including in the middle of the night.
We determined that the book met the requirements of evident popularity and direct relevance to Cheshire, and that the library should purchase the book.
Another issue, the court imposed gag order that was violated when author Brian McDonald interviewed suspect Joshua Komarstrujewski. But tonight, town attorney Dwight Johnson said that doesn't affect the library from stocking or lending the book out. But those opposed don't feel that's a good enough reason for them or Dr. Pettit.
I don't know how it can possibly go on except for the people that stand by him and love him, and this is awful.
Banning the book isn't going to change anything for a trial, but it will change the town itself. It will have far more reaching consequences if we start banning books because we don't like them. There are a lot of books that I don't like.
So a lot of different opinions in town. Now, the library has ordered 2 copies of the book. We are told it's on back order. And believe it or not, there is already a waiting list for when that book comes in. And we've been told almost 20 people are waiting to read in the middle of the night. We're live with the mobile newsroom in Cheshire. Hena Daniels, Channel 3 Eyewitness News.
All right, thank you, Hena.